Jerry, the photographer, takes Melody out into the woods to do a photo op, but Jerry has a bad feeling that they are not alone. He is very cautious as he scans the trees with his telephoto lens looking for someone or something. She can't resist flashing her boobs to get Jerry's attention. All of a sudden he spots a large hairy creature walking behind some trees. Melody feels neglected and she shouts out, "Hey, what are you doing? I'm the model. You're supposed to be filming me." As Jerry scans the area with his camera, the monster comes out of nowhere and kills him. The photo op ends in disaster. Melody is covered in Jerry's blood as she looks down at what's left of him. And then there is Mark and Wendy at the park. While he is walking across a bridge, he spots a round object laying next to the trees. He shouts at Wendy that he sees something over there and he is going to investigate the solid black round object. He says, "Oh cool," thinking that it is a ball. He picks up the round object and is shocked to see a human head inside. They call the police. Deputy Hobbs takes the helmet and head to the city coroner. Later he calls to find out if there was any way to identify who the person was. The coroner tells him that all he can determine with just a head is that it belonged to a white male in his 40s that has been dead for about 48 hours. They never found the rest of the body or his motorcycle. Then we see Deputy Hobbs at the home of Janice. She is telling him about the large hairy creature that she saw looking at her through her window last night. She told him that it was standing upright staring at her. He replies, "You mean it was standing on two legs?" She answers, "Yes, that's what I said." The deputy goes outside and looks at the very large footprints under the window where Janice saw the creature watching her. He has never seen footprints like these before. He isn't sure if they were made by someone playing a joke on Janice or could there actually be some kind of animal out there in the unknown that is big enough to make prints like these. He calls the sheriff and asks him when he is coming back from his vacation. He tells him about what is going on in the community and that he needs help. The sheriff tells him that he won't be back for another week and that he will have to take care of the problems himself. And now it is pitch black outside with a full moon, and we all know what happens in the woods when there's a full moon. Dan and Debbie decided to pitch a tent in the woods and have a good time during a full moon. While Dan is busy nibbling on Debbie's neck, she is concerned about what her husband would think about the two of them. He tells her not to worry. He reminds her that she told him that her husband wasn't very bright anyway. He reminds her that her husband is working until midnight tonight. While Dan continues nibbling on Debbie's neck, they hear something outside the tent. They see a very large shadow go by. All of a sudden, a very large creature reaches down through the top of the tent, grabbing Dan by the head and lifting him straight up. Debbie clings to Dan while shouting out, "No, no, you let him go." Finally, Don's body falls to the ground without his head. Debbie is in a state of shock. Deputy Hobbs arrives at the scene of the crime. He can plainly see that Debbie is in shock. He tries to question her, but she just stares straight ahead. Finally, she takes his notepad and pencil and draws a picture of Bigfoot. Now his fears have been confirmed. He remembers the large footprints and other mysterious occurrences. He thinks to himself, so there really is a Bigfoot. A woman is hitchhiking carrying her suitcase and a California sign. No one will stop to pick her up. She gets her hopes up when a VW bus goes by. But it didn't stop either. On the back of the bus, a sign in big bold letters read, "Have a nice day." Out of frustration, she throws the California sign away. As she walks along the road, she has a very strong feeling that someone is stalking her. She shouts out at whoever it is. She shouts, "It's not funny," and "Get a life." Then she really gets spooked and runs off the road and into the bushes. She thinks she is safe now. But the creature comes out of nowhere and rips her to pieces. Her head goes flying through the air and lands in a drainage pipe. And now we have Nick and Julie. Nick wants to impress Julie with his knowledge about the supernatural world. They are discussing the possibility of the existence of Bigfoot. He tells her that there is some evidence that support the theory that Bigfoot is an extra-dimensional being that travels by astral projection. Julie tells Nick that there is nothing supernatural about Bigfoot. It is an animal. People make it more mysterious than it should be. It's just a primate. They leave the park and continue their journey. Out of nowhere, a little black dog crosses the road. They run over it. They stop and argue about leaving it as roadkill or calling the police. They decide to keep driving. They stop at a restaurant for lunch. When they are leaving, they see a missing dog poster. The picture looks like the dog they ran over. They decide to call the phone number on the poster. They call the number several times, but the line is always busy. As they look at the poster of the missing dog, a man walks by and overhears their conversation. He asks them if they have found the dog. They reply, "Well, kind of." He tells them that Bill will be very happy to get his dog back. They tell him that every time they call his phone number, the line is busy. The man tells them that he lives just down the road a bit. He gives them the address. They decide to go to the home and let the owner of the dog know what happened. While driving to the home, their car breaks down. They decide to walk the rest of the way. After they tell the owner of the dog about the unfortunate accident, they can use his phone to call a tow truck for their car. They reach the home. They ring the doorbell, but no one ever comes to the door. They notice that the front door is unlocked. They decide to enter the home. They call out, "Hello, is anybody home?" There is no response. Nick picks up the wall phone, but it's not working. Julie walks into a bedroom and sees just the legs protruding outward on the floor next to the bed. When she walks over to investigate, she is shocked when she sees that the upper portion of the body is missing. Nick enters the room and is also shocked. Nick walks over to get a closer look of the body lying next to the bed. He is shocked when he sees that the upper portion of the body is missing. Nick sees the telephone receiver hanging by the cord from the desk. That explains why the line was always busy. He must have tried to call for help before being killed. Nick calls the police and tells them what they found. The dispatcher takes all the information and tells them to stay and wait for the police to arrive. Nick and Julie sit down and wait for the police to come. Deputy Hobbs receives the call about the dead body at the house. He replies 10-4, "I'm on my way." It is dark now, and as he drives along a deserted stretch of highway, something very large and hairy walks across the road in front of him. He stops the car and gets out with his flashlight to investigate. All of a sudden, the creature grabs and kills the deputy. Nick and Julie have been waiting for a very long time for the deputy to arrive. Nick calls the police station to find out how much longer it will be. He is told that Deputy Hobbs should have been there by now. He is told that they have called him on the radio, but he does not respond. The dispatcher tells Nick that the deputy is now missing. Nick and Julie are spooked. Nick tells Julie that they must look for the car keys for the car in the garage and get out of here right now. Nick locates the car inside the garage. He tells Julie about it and then tells her that he will find the keys so we can get out of here. There's a loud noise in the house. Julie asks Nick, "Did you hear that?" Nick enters the victim's room. He finds the car keys in the victim's pants pocket. He also finds a 12-gauge double-barrel shotgun leaning against the wall. It is empty, so he looks for ammunition. He finds some shot shells in the dresser drawers. He loads the shotgun and starts walking in the direction from where the noise was heard. Julie watches Nick from down the hallway. Nick slowly enters the room where the noise came from. Julie watches and waits. Then she hears 2 shots. She goes to the room hoping to see Nick walk out. She slowly opens the curtains to the room and says, "Nick." Then she looks down and sees the creature eating the lifeless body of Nick. As the creature devours Nick, Julie is in a state of shock. But instead of running away as fast as possible, she slowly backs up against the hallway wall and squats down. She is only a few feet away from where Nick is being eaten. She gets her thoughts together. She slowly stands back up. She looks to the heavens for some courage and guidance. She approaches the curtains again. The creature reaches out to grab her. Julie screams and tries to get away from the creature, who is now coming to eat her too. Julie makes her escape down the hallway with the creature in hot pursuit. She tries to block its path, but the creature just removes whatever she puts in its way. She finds an unlocked door and goes inside. But the room has just a flimsy wall on the opposite side. She can see the creature's shadow through the partition. She covers her mouth to muffle her fear. The creature tries to locate Julie by its strong sense of smell. It locates where the smell is coming from. The creature rips through the flimsy room divider. But Julie has outsmarted the creature this time. Julie removed her pants and left them on the floor. This clever diversion bought her some much-needed time to get out of the house. Julie finds a window for her escape. Just as she is almost outside, the creature grabs her from behind. She fights for her life. As she struggles to get free from the beast, she grabs a lamp and strikes it over its head. The light bulb flashes when she hits the beast. This distraction gives Julie a chance to run into the woods. But the creature's exceptional sense of smell makes it impossible for Julie to escape it. It's daylight now, and Julie is hoping that she will find someone to help her. She notices some deep and painful scratches on her shoulder that she received while fighting off the creature. She is exhausted and confused. She is not sure where she is. The pain in her shoulder is getting worse. As she rests by a tree, she hears music coming from the trees across from her. She sees a man walking out from the trees with a tape deck. Just as he smiles and waves at her, the beast comes out of nowhere and tears him apart. Julie watches in horror as the beast slaughters the innocent stranger. Julie runs away, but she is exhausted and in so much pain that the creature can walk faster than she can run. It would be easy to catch her, but the creature seems to enjoy watching her suffer. Julie feels like she can't go on any longer. She turns around to see how close the beast is to her. It is very close. She trips over something and falls down. She tripped over the headless body of Deputy Hobbs. She also finds his loaded gun. The creature is walking toward Julie with an overly cocky stride, as if to say, "Now it's your turn to die," but Julie has the upper hand now. She is pissed off and ready to go down fighting. The beast has no idea what it's walking into. As soon as Julie saw that facial expression, she opened fire. All 6 of the shots hit their target. The beast falls to the ground. Julie can't believe the creature is finally dead. She closes her eyes to get herself together. When she opens them again, she is stunned. The body of the beast has changed back to a human form. She recalled the conversation that she had with Nick about no one has ever found the body of a Bigfoot after it dies. She thinks about the werewolf movies that she has seen. When someone is bitten by one, then they turn into one. The pain in her shoulder is getting worse. Her entire body is tingling as if there were biological changes occurring. She feels dizzy and her heart is beating faster and faster. Then her teeth begin turning into fangs. She is now transforming into a Bigfoot creature. And so now we all know why they have never found the remains of a Bigfoot. But they have found a lot of remains of hikers, backpackers, and hunters who went missing for a very long time. Could this movie be true? If you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe and like buttons, and thanks for watching.